My good friend from Good Morning Football, Kyle Brandt, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Kyle?
Rich, I'm thrilled to be on, and I don't give a damn if I'm late. Happy birthday, you beautiful man.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Kyle. Thank you very much. A day late is not a dollar short anymore. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's okay, Rich. I just want to know if doesn't being 50 plus and a Michigan man, doesn't that make you eligible to be the Buccaneers quarterback?
It does. As a matter of fact, I've been asked to do that, but I said, you know what?
Get in there.
Let TB12 be that guy. Even though I did take to Instagram to have a blue steel selfie yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And I'm kind of feeling like I'm a fine wine on that front. The remarkable thing, though, is that on my blue steel selfie, Chris Brockman responded with a fascinating comment that I forget, that I'm now the same age that Wilford Brimley was somehow when he was in Cocoon, which is remarkable.
Wilford Brimley, Cocoon,
51.
Diabetes commercials, Our House, and I think the movie The Firm. He looks like he's 40 years older than you, though, Will.
Quaker Oatmeal, too.
I know that. Yeah. It's the right thing to do. But I can't imagine. Again, we checked on the ages of Messrs. Cronin, Amici, and Guilford.
They're all in their 70s.
As well as the ages of what? Miss Tandy,
Don Amici.
Yeah, all of it. They were all in their 70s, and the youngin', who I guess was putting the whoopee cushions under the seats, just not acting his age. Wilford Brimley was 51.
Who knew? He was like the Juju Smith-Schuster of the Cocoon cast. How do you measure up to the cast of Batteries Not Included, Rich? That's the next cross-examination.
So hold on a second.
Great movie, great reference, Kyle. Well done.
If Wilford was the Juju Smith-Schuster, does that make Don Amici or Hume Cronin the Antonio Brown? Is that what makes that? Or
it could be.
The Big Ben was
as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Cronin and Amici kept working though throughout. They were always in demand, whereas the other one is unemployed.
Who was team MVP and required the other guy to
I don't know. Oh my gosh. Now, Jay Cutler. Did you think Jay had this in him, Kyle? Let's be honest here.
Well, at this point, I think we can just start calling him Jay Exotic.
Yes.
Because if I would have thought if in the quarantine period, you would think that the market on a wild Southerner getting in the cage with animals would have been cornered by Joe Maldonado Passage, current incarcerated felon. And yet it wasn't even the best one. Cutler just completely took that game from him. I'm riveted because we have a whodunit. And I don't know what the answer was. I only saw the teaser video that someone's killing chickens. He thought it might be the cat, but then he threw out a bunch of other theories. Did we get an answer yet? Because I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well, he has Instagrammed out an apology today. I don't know if you had that information on Good Morning Football today. Yeah, he Instagrammed out, because he did a couple of videos yesterday, and then he Instagrammed out an apology to the cat. While I'm not sorry you were accused of these vicious acts, I'm reading verbatim, I will be the bigger person and admit I was wrong. You are not the suspect we are looking for. Take it as a compliment for your savage ways of life. Carry on, cat. And so it's interesting. Carry on, cat. He finishes up with a very, very Seussian type 3-word sentence. But Don, if you could put that Instagram up one more time. The words that leapt out at me, interestingly enough, was I will be the bigger person and admit I was wrong. And as I said in the top of the show, those are words I think Mike Martz is still waiting to hear. Kyle?
Oh, it's beautiful. And Rich, you should hear them. It's funny because, Jay is apologizing for damaging the reputation of cats.
Yes.
And yet I still see no apology for all the damage he's done to bears, because I think there might be some culpability there, too.
Hey, now.
Kyle Brandt, everybody. I'm giving you a round of applause. I didn't expect this one. I didn't expect Jay to take to Instagram and then turn his life into content, because he looked like what were the words you used before to describe the way he utter disdain and sheer indifference. By the way, which was a great opening act years ago when Utter Disdain opened up for Sheer Indifference. That's what he showed when he was in the Cavallari reality show. You know,
I think I saw utter disdain an Ozfest 2002 incredible set they did opening for, I don't know who it was, probably Ozzy himself, but that show started, and the whole pitch of the show is you've got Kristen and she's doing the thing, and then Jay is the begrudged getting dragged along, almost like a hostage, it felt like. But, you know, Rich, when they did American Idol, they probably thought Paula Abdul was going to be the star of the show, and you bring in Randy and the singers. You want some of that Simon Cowell disgust.
Yes, you do.
Especially now when everybody's annoyed with everything. It becomes really, really relatable that Cutler's over it and rolling his eyes, because guess what the rest of us are doing?
I also noticed that he had the same body language during his Instagram feed, Kyle, as he would have when he had throwing like 6 interceptions one day, and throwing in windows that Ryan Fitzpatrick would look at and go, "No, I'm not going to try that." You know,
it was a remarkable symmetry. I watched him once walk off the field against the 49ers, having just completely collapsed. I think it was 4 interceptions, and 3 of them were in the red zone. And if you were to freeze his shoulders and neck, it's exactly like he looks walking into whatever boutique he was being dragged into, or in a chicken coop. There's like nothing has changed. That playing style has stayed the same, and we love it.
I do too.
By the way, the Bears lost that game 10-6. Cutler had 5 picks in that game.
Oh, my word.
November 12th, 2009.
Never change. And again, I'm just so glad he had it in him. You know, we kind of need all of this stuff. So what do you think is the biggest football story that's not involved with COVID? What are you guys talking about that you've been enjoying hitting in the morning, Kyle?
A lot of Bucks, a lot of Tampa Bay, and I don't know, Rich, we had a question this morning, and it was, which Tampa Bay Buccaneer are you looking at? As you know, at this point, like we're churning up anything we can to talk about it. I think we already did the which Stranger Things character would Baker Mayfield be segment. So today we got
Kyle,
which Buccaneers player are you looking at?
Kyle, you're talking to somebody, by the way, Kyle, you're talking to somebody who kept the light on during a lockout on NFL Network, on NFL Total Access since 2011. So I absolutely hear you. So which Buccaneer am I looking at? Is that and is that an open-ended question?
Who's the most fascinating watch?
Oh, man. I mean, you can't go Brady because that's the obvious, right?
Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
You could go Arians, but to me it's Gronk. You know, Florida man Gronk, without Belichick standing over his shoulder, without Gronk kind of peering out his peripheral to see what the coach is thinking. That Arians just the no risk it, no biscuit coach, plus Gronk, plus Florida, to me, I think is rife with must-see television. That's what I would say to that answer. I would have to choose Gronk, especially since also
there seems to be that theory.
Yes,
that kind of like a Bushwood caddy swim field that Gronkowski's season might have right now.
Was it 1 to 115?
You waited your whole life for this. And to your point, Rich, not only is he in Florida, I went deep. If you look at the Bucs schedule, in December and November, there's no cold weather games. All their road games are on the road. They're at Atlanta, I think, and they're at Detroit. So none of that like late December Foxborough action.
Yes.
He's got a coach who just likes to bust chops and have cocktails.
Yeah.
He's now playing in a stadium that literally has a damn pirate ship in it that fires cannons. It's like a child's paradise. I think we're seeing the best Gronk this year. And I had a theory about Gronk. I want to bounce this off of you.
Yes.
If the hypothetical plays out that we get great Gronk this year, like it really works. He's loose, he's fierce, he's a red zone maniac, he's spiking it, he's dancing. We get the 10 out of 10 Gronk. It was a real success. And he's out there saying, taking that year off was the best thing I've ever done. My body feels great, my head feels great. Is there not a possibility for others adapting the gap year strategy? I'm looking at guys who are veterans, who have been beat up and injured, who have made a ton of money on and off the field, who are like, you know what? I think I could use a year. If you look at somebody like a J.J. Watt or a Richard Sherman, who could retire for a year and unretire, and immediately a bunch of teams would want to sign him. If Gronk says this is the best thing I've ever done, maybe that's the copycat trend. Instead of everyone just retiring early now, maybe you just need a year to go on the beach and do a little commentating, make some money, do some video games, then come back ready to go. If it works for him, I think it could work for other guys.
Yeah, go out and dance with the Laker girls and go to Times Square and spike Steve Harvey's Lego head. And
he's on all these game shows now.
Yeah. Well, do the Masked Singer.
Yeah.
Do the Masked Singer, where it was so obvious it was him. And by the way, speaking of Fox shows, my kids are so locked in on J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, and Derek Watt doing Ultimate Tag. Have you seen this? Have you seen this show, Kyle?
Okay. I've seen the show American Gladiators. I was a big fan of Nitro and Gemini, but that was 20 years ago, and I've not seen Ultimate Tag. I've heard about it. Like, tell me about it. Is this something we got to watch?
There's some Running Man vibe to it because the taggers all have nicknames and slick videos when they're introduced as the taggers. Okay, it's
okay.
And then there's the Watt brothers, who are the hosts of this show. And I'm an expert at this because my kids not only watch it live, they then rewatch it over and over and over again throughout the week. And TJ and Derek are standing there next to JJ, who's in the middle almost every time. And JJ is the prompter reader. He does all the nuts and bolts. Okay, Derek and TJ sometimes do the interviews with the people who are avoiding the tags, the contestants. And it was clear that early on they needed to come up with a catchphrase. And it's a catchphrase that I run up and say to my kids all the time, and they roll their eyes because I'm the dad. It starts with JJ saying, "It's time to play some tag." Like, literally says that. That's how it starts. Okay? Let's go. Okay. Here we go. It's now ready. Okay. So-and-so is ready. Flame is ready to do the tagging. And she's like got this red hair and, she's ready to go tag you. And now so-and-so is ready. It's time to play some tag. Like, I want a shirt. Yes, he says it every time. He says it like 90 times during the program. And my kids can't get enough of it.
Brady running on the field at Gillette Stadium saying, "Let's go." It's J.J. Watt saying, "Hey, let's play some tag."
It's time to play some tag. And it's time to play some tag.
Time to play some tag.
Oh, my God.
Is he going to say that after a sack
had me
this
as the
year?
running man, Rich.
Maybe.
I mean, that's one of the all-timers. And if JJ is the de facto host, are you in some kind of way linking J.J. Watt and Richard Dawson? Because that sounds like the perfect human.
Well, J.J.'s less evil than Richard Dawson in this.
Only in a rerun.
In terms of fake reality tag show hosts, he's much nicer. In terms of game show hosts, he doesn't kiss a single person during Ultimate Tag. Not even.
Who loves you and who do you love? Oh, I love the running man. Oh, I'm watching it.
Man, here's a running man home game when he gives that out. That's fantastic.
It was just on the other day. Still as good as it was.
We got again. Do we have? Ask him the new poll question that we had.
New poll, Kyle.
Based on Mike Del Tufo's blind spot in his movie viewing experience.
You can only watch one. You can only watch one. Wedding Crashers, Old School.
Mm-hmm.
You have to choose which one.
That's the two options.
Those are the two options.
That's it.
You can only watch one.
Okay, so the answer is Old School. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because you get a lot more Ferrell for your buck. As good as he is in Wedding Crashers, it's a hilarious cameo with the nunchucks and the meatloaf, but it's way late in the movie. Give me a bigger factor of Vince and Will Ferrell over a lot of Owen Wilson saying, "Wow." I'm gonna go with Old School.
That's a good Owen Wilson right there, man.
And after further consideration on my part, that's the right answer. Old School is the right answer here.
Okay.
I went the other direction.
You don't get Wedding Crashers if there's no Old School.
Okay, the Old School.
All right.
Wait, Rich, were you a Wedding Crashers guy? It's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but this is the 2-1 in the finals of the bracket here. Somebody's got to go.
No, I would go Wedding Crashers over Old School. I really would.
Oh, really? How come?
I just think, first of all, I love Bradley Cooper in his role. I think Bradley Cooper in his role is fantastic. Isla Fisher is just a drop of honey on the planet. I do like Owen Wilson. I find him very funny. I think this is Vince Vaughn at his finest outside of Swingers. And Will Ferrell cameo at the end is fantastic. Like, his meatloaf line is better than any of his lines in Old School, and I will take that to the mat, even though I know and I use that.
Yeah, I mean, Isla Fisher. I would think Jane Seymour also a drop of honey. I would only counter that if you look at the apex scene, like what is the funniest scene in both movies? They both have a lot. It's tough to beat Snoop Dogg in the middle of a set, and then a fully naked Will Ferrell coming on stage and then streaking through the town, his wife picking up in a car. Yeah. They're saying it's a little bit cold out there, and his line is the Wendy's still open? Like, that whole sequence is so good. I just think of the apex to apex factor. I have to go with Old School.
Okay, and since you know lines very well, what's I don't know if you've ever been asked this. I've never asked you this question, Kyle Brandt. Your favorite line that you ever delivered on Days of Our Lives?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because again, you spent three seasons, right? Or 4 seasons through 3 years. You played the character of Philip Kyriakis, correct? Did I nail that right?
That's right, okay. Absolutely. Philip Kyriakis, a young Greek gentleman. You can tell by me, I'm a Greek man. And 3.5 years. They don't even do seasons, Rich. It's just year-round.
Okay.
52 weeks a year. It never stops.
Okay, so which is your favorite line where it doesn't have to include a music swell at the end, but that would be helpful. What would it be, Kyle, that you delivered, your favorite line?
I had a walk-off, Rich, and people ask me all the time on my departure from Days of Our Lives, was I killed? No, I was not. I had the airport scene, bag over the shoulder, walk down the jetway, stop on your mark, pause, turn over the left shoulder whimsically, and look at your love. My love was named Belle.
Yes.
And as I walked down the jetway, I had a lot of weight that I was carrying, Philip, about this. The town of Salem had rejected him and how he was going to be triumphant. And the line was, Belle, I'm not leaving this town. This town's leaving me. And I had a single tear. And I walked, and it doesn't even make sense because I literally delivered it as I was about to physically leave the house. But I don't question those things on the soap set. I had the single tear, and I'll tell you how you separate the adults from the children on soaps. Everybody can cry on command. It's just like taking batting practice in MLB. You got to cry on command. But when I started there, the great Deidre Hall, who plays Marlena for 30 years, I saw the director come up to her and say, Deidre, can we get a tear here for your close-up before we go to commercial and sell fabric softener? Can we get the tear here? And she literally said to him, would you like the tear from the left eye or the right eye?
Oh, and I said, wow. What a flex.
That's GOAT stuff. That's it. That's the Michael Jordan of soaps. I never could go ambidextrous. I think I was only a southpaw crier. But those how you know they're real maniacs. They can go either eye.
So this town, I'm not leaving this town. This town's leaving me. Right?
I don't even know if it makes sense. It's
as
like
he was leaving?
As you're leaving town. Time. But again, the check cleared, and I was leaving the show. That's the last line I think I ever uttered on the program.
Sounds like a Tim McGraw song.
It does sound like you do need to have a stiff drink with that. Kyle, I always enjoy our chats, man. You take care of yourself. We'll chat again soon.
Rich, I'm going to go out and play with the kids right now because guess what? It's time to play some tag.
Yeah. It's time to play. No, you got to do it one more time. Again, this is, and I know you know.
A little too excited.
No,
Coach me.
It's time to play some tag like that. Like you got to.
Oh, like NBC.
Yeah, you're right. It's time to play some tag. That's how he does it.
Okay.
Can you do it?
I'm not going to play some tag. Some tag is going to play me.
Attaboy, everybody.
That's it. That's all I got.
Very good. Looking over his shoulder.
Sands through the hourglass, Rich.
These are the days of Kyle Brandt on the Rich Eisen. He's not leaving the show. The show's leaving him. Kyle Brandt, everybody.
Hey, now.
Fantastic. Man, that guy cracks me up.
Rack him.
What a great spot by Kyle Brandt.
Well done.
Fantastic. Good morning football every morning on NFL Network. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here